From the classroom, family life, and entrepreneurship. Today, my guest will share how she's built a successful business while continuing to inspire and shape lives as a teacher, wife, mother, and entrepreneur. This is the 30. Thank you for being here. Well, hello there again. Welcome to the 30. I want to thank you for joining me for another episode. I am excited about this because I've been trying to get this guest on for some months now. I'll give you a backstory. My wife came home and she brought this product in, and I'm wondering, where did you get this from? This is good stuff. And it was a candle. And come to find out that the owner, is local, and she's connected to someone that I know, a good friend of mine, and it all runs circle in one full circle. And I reached out to her and I says, gotta have you on the 30, gotta hear and tell our viewers and listeners about your story. So I am going to, without further doubt, this is the 30. Make sure that you like and share this broadcast. If you're watching us from YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, right? If you're watching us from LinkedIn, make sure that you like the broadcast. If you're watching us from Facebook, also like and share it. If you have a comment, make sure you drop your comment in the chat. I'm sure my guest, Lauren, would love to hear from you. So I'm going to bring her in and let her tell you your story, her story, and how she got started and the balance that she's keeping. But let's welcome to the 30 stage for the first time. Lauren, thank you for joining us on the 30.
Thanks for having me.
So tell our viewers and listeners, who is Lauren? What is this company about as we talk about lighting the way? So tell our viewers.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lauren Barley. I am the owner of Light My Candle Co., which is a candle shop here in Rochester, New York. We specialize in making handmade candles out of soy wax and clean ingredients. And when I'm not doing that, I am a wife, a mom, and also a high school math teacher. So doing lots of things.
So you have your hands full with
Yes.
being a wife, being a mother, a math teacher.
Yes.
Now, this
math.
is first. We've never had a math teacher on the 30. So, and then if that was not enough, you are an entrepreneur of a thriving business.
Yes.
Yes. Let's start by doing that. How do you handle and balance all four things at the same time?
I guess the trick is to not really think about all the things that are happening at one time, and you just kind of just do it. I try to stay scheduled. You can't do everything all the time. So, what are we going to do on this day? What are we going to do tomorrow? And map everything out so that it can all get done, because it all has to get done, right?
Right. There's so many questions that I have for you, Lauren. And so let's dive right into it. Now that our audience have some idea of who you are and what you do and the balance that you take for all four things of your life, let's talk about, how did you get started? What path did you have to take to become a math teacher, first and foremost? And then secondly, what was the reason for the pivot from teaching and inspiring to entrepreneurship?
Yeah, well, I guess I became a math teacher because I've always done well in math and science. I started out, college interested in engineering and just decided that that wasn't the pathway for me. I'm good at math and science, and I'm also a very creative person. So I feel like teaching is a good blend of that. So, I went to school and did all the work to become a math teacher. I did my student teaching at Edison Tech High School. And then that following September, I got hired full time and I've been there ever since. And then how did I roll that into starting a business?
Yep.
I think I just kind of stumbled into entrepreneurship. I kind of reached a point in life where, I mean, I know this sounds crazy, but I was just looking for something more, something that was kind of fulfilling, but a passion project, if you could say. And, here we are all these years later, and now I have my own shop and it's just snowballed. So it's been a fun journey for sure.
So how long have you started? How long ago have you started Light My Candle Company?
I started in 2018 and started out very small. I just bought enough supplies to make 120 candles, I think is what I started with. And I started on Etsy, selling them on Etsy and just different, like, local farmers markets and craft fairs and things like that. And then, Rochester has been really good to me and the community has been fantastic. And it just snowballed into all of this.
So the big question is, why candles? Why did you decide to go into the candle business as opposed to
Yeah.
something else?
Well, before I started making my own candles, I loved candles just for myself. And it got to the point where I actually received like so many candles as Christmas presents one year that my husband was kind of joking and he was like, "Oh man, like you got a lot of candles. You should just make them yourself." And it was literally like a light bulb moment. I never really thought about how candles were made or making them myself. But from that point on, I did my research on the whole process, and I found out that the candles that I love, the ones that I bought at the stores, were actually really harmful for your health.
Hmm.
A lot of people don't know. Well, I think it's becoming more mainstream knowledge, but people don't know that there's actually a lot of toxins and carcinogens in the candles that you burn from some of the big name brand stores. So the candles that I make are made out of soy wax, which is a much cleaner burning candle. And also we love soy because it's a renewable resource. So it's very earth friendly, good for the planet. And they smell better.
All right. So the candle business, you started it some years ago, and of
Mhm.
course, is it 2 years after came the pandemic?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So was that your first challenge? I know it was a major challenge, but was it your first true challenge as a businesswoman?
So I don't know how this is going to come across, but the pandemic was a challenge, but it was in a positive way, I would say. Um, as the world shut down, everybody stayed home, and a lot of people started buying more candles. So we actually experienced a huge boom during the pandemic with just people being home and purchasing online a lot more. I utilized social media to get my name out there and connect with more people during that time. And so the challenge during the pandemic for me was my business is skyrocketing during this time. I am a mom who now has kids who are staying home because of the pandemic. And also, I'm teaching from home
Wow.
during the pandemic. So it was just, and at the time I was making the candles at home in my basement. So that was the challenge, was just juggling all the hats and I think it became more of a personal challenge because I felt like I didn't have any like rest. There was no rest. I work here, I play here, I sleep here, like everything is home. So that was challenging.
So has that challenge kind of lessened? I guess are you still operating from your home, or have you opened up a shop or store?
So, last June, I decided to take a step back from teaching,
Mm.
and to, pursue the business full time. Um, I have opened up a shop here in Rochester in the Village Gate, really fun building to be in. And now that it's just a new challenge with a different schedule. I'm used to operating off of a school schedule and being done with work at 2:30 every day and then having the rest of my day free. But now, the hours are different and I work on weekends, so we're just adjusting to a new schedule.
So are you still teaching, or are you full time in your business?
As of right now, I am on what's called a leave of absence
Okay.
from my job. So I haven't officially like 100% left. But we are just in an exploration phase right
Okay.
now.
I love it.
Which
I
is
love it.
okay. Which is okay. If I have that option, why not take advantage of it, right?
Exactly. That is perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
one of the things that we put in the description was to discuss your journey of pushing beyond your comfort zone, right?
Mhm,
uh,
mhm,
and balancing the various roles. So we talked about the various roles, but I'm glad that
mhm.
you said that you had a challenge with at home, and now it's easier because you have a different types of schedule. I guess let's talk about that entry point when you first moved from home to your store. What was it like?
Mhm. Um, it was I don't know how to describe it. It felt very freeing. Owning my own shop has been on my heart for a long time. I actually spent like 2 years, I think, after the pandemic, just looking for places in Rochester. I've seen every place that's available. But it was very freeing because I can do whatever I want here. There are no rules really. And so I am allowed to be as creative as I want to be, which, can be a little scary, but it's fun at the same time. So I love having my own shop now because I get to invite people to come here
Mm.
to the shop at any time. Whereas when I was at home, I can only see people for limited amounts of time, like if I was at a craft fair, farmer's market, or something like that. So now we're open up to the community.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm talking with Tara. She's the owner and founder of Light My Candle Company out of Rochester, New York. And we're sharing about her journey, her balance, and basically how the business is going, but also want to engage. And if you have any questions or comments for Lauren, let us know because she would love to hear from you. In a minute, I'm going to be asking her about suggestions for other entrepreneurs. So you don't want to miss this. All right. Drop her a question, put it in the chat, or if you just want to say hi, go ahead and do that. So, Lauren, where how did you come up with the name? Because I think it's a very unique name and it's a powerful name. Light My Candle.
Mhm, mhm. So it's kind of a double-ended name. I wish I had it with me. I had a notebook when I was developing, this business and, what's it gonna be? And I wrote page after page after page of all these names and making it so complex and trying to be so fancy and creative with the name. And I just stopped and I was just like, I just wish people could light my candle and then they'll know, like, then they'll get it. And it was, again, like a light bulb moment. Like, just keep it simple. It doesn't have to be so complicated. Just like the candles, and all the branding, we try to keep everything very simple, because that's what works best. So it was just kind of like, If you just light the candle, you'll see. So it was a relief, a moment of relief for me, but also as the customer picks it up, then it's kind of like a call to action for them as well. So that was the intention behind it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, in reading your bio, you said that you started it because of your family. So there was a purpose and a mission behind it. Let's talk
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, like I stated earlier, that the candles that I loved and would always buy from the big name brand candle stores were actually really harmful for your health. And, you don't think about it when you're burning a candle, but the same way that I wouldn't smoke a cigarette in front of my child, I shouldn't burn this candle in front of them because they are inhaling all of those toxins and carcinogens. So I knew that there had to be a better way. I really dug deep and did a lot of research and found that soy wax was a much safer alternative to the paraffin wax that most candles use.
Great. Now, where are you now in terms of growth of the business? Are you seeing more of an increase since the pandemic? Has business increased? I know you are in one of the local famous stores. Let's not call the store's name because they haven't advertised with us, but you
Oh,
are in some you're in some of the unique and famous stores. So let's
yes,
talk about that.
yes. So, I'm sorry, can you repeat the question for me, please?
Sure.
Yeah.
You are based on the expansion.
Yes.
Realize that you are now in some of the top stores in Rochester, in addition to your own store, right? Is that right?
Yes, yes, yes. So that was one way for me to get my name out there when I was still operating out of my home. Because, like I said, people can't come to my house and shop for candles. So, how do we get the name and the brand out there? So yes, I am in one of the iconic, one of the iconic gift shops here in Rochester, along with some other places. And it's just, again, another way to connect with my community and give them options for where to find my candles at all times. Because, what if I'm not here at the shop one day? Then they can go somewhere else and get candles. You got to have options.
There you go.
Mhm.
Is it only available in Rochester? Are you shipping outside of Rochester yet?
Oh yeah, yeah. We ship to all 50 states,
Oh
and
wow.
I'm also on a wholesale website called fair.com, and we do shipping. I've actually shipped to, I want to say it was Belgium, or so international shipping is also an option. Yeah, we ship
So
all the
you are truly a big deal, Lauren.
time. Uh, maybe I don't know.
Maybe. Where do you see the
Maybe.
business going? What's your vision for the business?
Well, I don't know where I get these big, audacious goals from, but in a perfect world, I would love to have my business grow to the point where I can have multiple locations and don't laugh, okay?
No,
But
no,
one day
no
I would
laughter here.
love for Oprah to hold my candle and tell the world how great it is.
That's a great goal. I love it. I love it. And it will come to reality. I look back and says, "Hey, she was under 30. Now look at her now. She's blowing up.
Yes.
She's one of Oprah's favored. That's
Hmm.
great."
Yeah.
Well, we're going to join you in the prayer of agreement that this happens.
Amen.
Right? Good. So let's talk about some of the struggles that you've gone through because as an entrepreneur, uh, I also know some of the struggles that we've gone through in other entrepreneurs, but I wanted to make it more specific to you. What are some of the struggles that you've gone through, and how have you overcome or handled those struggles?
I think that being an entrepreneur is more of like a personal development journey versus just running a business. So, one thing that I've really had to struggle with is, not being so camera shy, really being the voice for my brand. If you know me, then I'm not like a big tell my whole story to the whole world kind of person. So just being more vocal about things and just really like coming out of my shell, letting go of all that fear that's associated with what if I fail? What if this? What if that? And just let it go and just give it up to God and, just keep moving forward.
Amen to that. That's great.
Mhm.
It's funny, right? Because as we were setting up, and I'll tell our viewers a little bit of behind the scenes prior
Yeah.
to the show. So as Lauren and I were setting up and we are going through our tech check, she had someone knock on the door.
Yeah.
And here it is. Someone comes in to interview her as we're
Yeah.
setting.
Yeah. This is
I
what happens. I
was
mean,
like, look at God.
yeah, I'm sitting here waiting for the podcast to start, and someone knocks on the door, and they're like, with their phone, like, "Hey, we're gonna put you on right now." I'm like, "Okay." Like, so, a few years ago, I might have been like really nervous, like sweating over that, and now I'm just like, "All right, let's go."
There we go. There we go. That was too funny. She came
Yeah,
back and
and
says, do you have 2 minutes or 2 minutes?
yeah, I'm like telling them I have 30 seconds. Do I have 2 minutes here? Like, and that's again, like you can't ever plan for those things.
Right.
And that's kind of how the business has evolved to where it is now, is just community, connecting with people, word of mouth, and just rolling with the punches, I guess you could say.
There you go. Good. So let's talk about well, let's do this. Let me bring up some comments here. So my dear wife, she brought home the candle and Jeannie gifted it to her. I was like, wow, that smells pretty good. So she's the one who turned it on to me, turned me on to you. But here's Jeannie, who's the bottom
Oh,
of our right. She was the connector as she normally is. She says, "I
that
love the
is
candles."
Mama Jean. I've known her my whole entire life. I love her so much. Hi.
Thanks, Jenny, for hooking it up, for connecting us.
Yes, definitely. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So let's talk about the candles themselves. What are the favorite candles that people purchase the most?
That depends on the season. Obviously, during Christmas time, I have a candle that smells like a fresh cut Christmas tree. Like if you were to smell the candle and legitimately a tree side by side, I'm not sure you could smell the difference. But it's called Fraser Fir. That's my most popular selling candle. But throughout the year, it changes with the season. Sea salt and orchid is a scent that a lot of people love. Lilac garden, because we live in Rochester, I have a lilac scented candle. Yeah, there's so many favorites. I have a candle that always seems to kind of start the conversation. It's called Tomato Leaf. And it's my all-time favorite scent ever, hands down. It's a very unique fragrance. You wouldn't expect to see it in a candle, but as soon as people smell it, they know exactly what it is. And it just snaps people back to like being in the garden, or they remember when their grandma used to garden, or when their mom used to pick tomatoes and, leave them out in the kitchen. Like it just smells very like bright and earthy, and it's amazing. Everyone try it.
So let's look at your target. Do men come in and says, I want to purchase candles? Do they purchase
Oh
them for
yeah.
themselves, for their
Oh yeah.
wives or significant others?
A little bit of both, but you'd be surprised. A lot of men are into candles. So I try to offer a wide range of fragrances for everyone.
Awesome. So guys, this is just not a female product. We can
Oh,
go
no.
in and support her and purchase candles and make sure that the dream continues that is specific to the
Yes.
community and growth as a whole.
Hmm.
If you were to tell yourself now, this current version of Lauren, if you're to tell yourself when you first started, if you're to have a conversation, what would you tell Lauren then that you know now?
Hmm. That's a good question. Knowing what I know now, again, I would just say, stop being so scared. Just do
Mm.
it. Just take the leap and, trust yourself and do it. Don't be afraid.
So is there was there a block that you thought was stopping you from taking that leap of faith?
Yes. Well, like I said earlier, I was a math teacher, a high school math
Mhm.
teacher, and I felt like I worked really hard to get to where I was in my career. And to the thought of giving all of that up was, like a little scary.
Sure.
So, um, nothing in life is guaranteed, right? But I reached a point in my career where I was halfway through. Teaching is usually a 30-year career. I was right on that 15-year mark. And I just said, you know what? We can keep doing what we've been doing, or we can pause and try something different. And what's the worst that can happen? You can always go back to teaching somewhere, right? Try it out, see what happens. So I would tell my younger self to just go hard and just try it and don't be afraid.
I love that, Lauren, because so many people want to be successful, right? See your success and may say, well, she's lucky, but don't know the hard work that it took.
Mhm.
Or they may think
Yeah.
that you are an overnight success, not knowing the hours you had to put in and the
Yeah.
sacrifices.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I would wake up at 6 in the morning, get the kids ready, get myself ready, go teach a full day, sometimes do after school work. Then I would get home, get the kids ready for dinner. And at the time when I first started, they were doing dance, and it was like we're traveling all over. And then after everyone went to sleep, that's when I worked on the business. So, it's hard and it's not easy and sometimes it's not fun, but if you love it, it's worth it.
Yes, a passion of yours. That's
Mhm.
fantastic, Lauren. So tell me, is it family business? Would you consider it as a family business? Is your entire family involved in it? Husband, kids, and others?
So, I would say that they are all unofficially involved in this
Okay, good. Well,
business.
good.
My husband is fantastic. He has helped me out so much along this journey. He sees things differently than I do.
Okay.
I'm very much so like a creative person, and how does it feel? And he's very much like he's an engineer by trade, so he's very much like, where's the spreadsheet? Like, did you did you follow all the steps? And I'm like, yeah, and he's like, I always joke around. I'm like, it's just feel the vibes. And he's like, vibes are not a plan. So he keeps me very grounded in that way. And then my kids, they love to help out. Like, I have them do just little things like putting the warning labels on the jars, or, counting things for me. So yeah, they help out.
That's great. That's when that balance, right,
Yeah.
is key. Where you have someone that's focused on the process and the
Mhm.
details, and there's Lauren focused on right on the other pieces, the creative side of things. So that's a great balance. But it's
Both
important
are
that
important, right?
yeah, I tell when I have an opportunity to talk with entrepreneurs, uh, and they're married. It's very important to have the spouses on the right track, right? To make sure that they are in tune, because it can be so difficult if one person is going and the other
Yeah.
person is saying no. So if you're on the same page and have that discussion, it becomes easier.
Right, exactly. And, taking this leap into full-time entrepreneurship was a big shift for our family,
Mhm.
but we didn't just do it, out of nowhere. We've been planning for this for a long time. So he's been so supportive.
Great, great. Lauren, any last words you have for our viewers and listeners?
I guess if there's anyone out there who is, thinking of starting a business or has a dream on their heart that they're hesitant to pursue, I think my only advice would be to just start. Just start. Just do it, see what happens.
Great. How does someone get a hold of you if they're interested in purchasing, whether for themselves or as Jeannie did for gifts for her choice friends? How does someone get a hold of you, or if they'd like to maybe invite you to talk about leadership and entrepreneurship?
Yeah, well, you can always stop by the shop. I'm located in the Village Gate in Rochester, New York, 274 North Goodman Street. I'm in Suite B130 on the ground floor, which is right near Get Cake Bakery and the Gatehouse Restaurant. I think are easy identifiers in this building. And then if the shop is not open, then you can just go online, www.lightmycandleco.com, and you can reach out to me through there.
Awesome. Well, this has been fun. Which is your busiest season? Are you going into your busy season now, or you're coming out of your busy season?
We're coming out of the busy season.
Okay.
Fall and the winter are the busiest seasons for my product,
Okay.
candles and things. Yeah, but so spring and summer are pretty good too. But the fall and winter is like go time.
Is it? All right.
Yeah.
Well, Lauren, thank you so very much. This was great. This was fantastic. I
Thank
think I'm going to
you.
have to come in and um, grab some candles or order them online,
Definitely.
and
Definitely.
and then we'll go from that point. But thank you. This was great. My prayer for you and your family that your business will succeed and go beyond your expectations.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. So I've been talking with Lauren, and she is the owner and founder of Light My Candle. The website and email address is already in the show's description. Make sure that you contact her. Make sure that you go out, purchase something from her. Let her know that you saw her on the 30, and maybe we'll have her back as a follow up.
Oh, and I also want to mention before I go
Sure. Go
that
ahead.
the shop is not just for shopping. You can also come into the shop and make your own candle or have a candle making party, or, I also do candle making classes and things like that as well.
Oh, so you're doing it all then.
Yeah, yeah, you're doing it all.
And that is fantastic.
Thanks.
So if you haven't experienced, maybe you want to do a party for your friends, birthday
Hmm.
party or
Yep,
gathering,
yep.
go see Lauren. If you're in Rochester, stop by. And as you heard, she ships across the world. So
Hmm.
make sure that you contact her, go to the website, schedule your parties there, or
Yes,
purchase something from her. Let's get small businesses moving, because this
yes.
small businesses is for the world. Small businesses is what makes the economy grow.
Hmm. Hmm.
So Lauren, thank you again. We'll see each
Thank
other
you.
soon. Okay,
Thank you so much.
bye bye. So we complete this episode of the 30. I want to thank Lauren for coming into the studio, well, virtual studio, and chatting with us. Her website is in the show's description. Make sure that you go to it. Make sure you contact her. Again, purchase or go see how candles are made. But make sure that you support her in whatever way that you can. Okay, it's important. All right, that's about it, folks. I want to thank you. If you would like to join the show, you can send us an email, info@jackmangroupllc.com. That's info@jackmangroupllc.com. The 30 is a production of the Jackman Group LLC, and we are developers of people. We train and develop leaders and enhance teams, and that's what we do as a company. And we produce the 30, which is a weekly program highlighting others and giving you relevant information that will help you to enhance your personal, professional, and spiritual lives. So until then, I want to thank you once again. We hope to see you next week on another episode of The 30. May God bless you and your family. Be safe. Bye for now.